Yeah, they said he was suicidal, and he started talking about he wanted to bring a Bible with him or some shit.
Yeah, you heard that right. Julio's killers completely lost it in court. Pure chaos. One of them hit the floor after the judge handed down a heavy sentence, and the others barely held it together. But here's the twist. Was it really the life sentence that broke them, or something darker? Word on the street says these dudes are terrified. Not just of prison, but of Julio's crew waiting for them behind bars. And trust me, they're not forgiving. Picture a courtroom turned movie scene. These guys went from fearless to crumbling in seconds. When the judge said life without parole, one collapsed. Limp on the floor, his mother screamed. He broke down crying, realizing it was truly over. Another stared blankly like his life had vanished. And the alleged shooter, he tried to fire his lawyer and represent himself in a case that could have ended with a death sentence. That wasn't confidence, it was pure panic. Before we get into the full meltdown, here's what happened. Julio Foolio, real name Charles Jones, wasn't just chasing clout. He was a son, a brother, a real person. On June 22nd, he was celebrating his birthday in Tampa. By the early hours of the 23rd, he was gone, ambushed and gunned down outside a hotel in a ruthless hit. Police report over 30 bullets tore through his car. It was a setup from the start. Surveillance footage captured 3 men moving like trained soldiers, rifles ready, no hesitation. Julio sat in the passenger seat when they opened fire. He didn't even have a chance to react.
Let's look at this video. This is at the hotel, and you can see the shooters are getting in position for their planned out murder, and they are shooting at Charles now, and you can see that he's the passenger in that car that's moving and trying to flee. And again, they're still shooting at him. He's the right front passenger in that vehicle.
These suspects weren't sloppy. They moved with precision, like they'd been planning this for weeks. One of them was allegedly tight with Julio's ex, and then there was Alicia Andrews, a young woman who was reportedly pregnant at the time. She allegedly trailed Julio from club to club, sending updates to her crew like she was on a secret mission. They weren't hardened criminals, they were kids, some barely grown. This crew, aged just 18 to 30, is now linked to one of the most shocking rap murders we've seen in years.
4 guys, 1 girl. The girl's pregnant currently, which makes it even crazier. One of the guys, when they were arresting him, I guess he had a gun to his head. Did you hear this whole story?
Yeah, they said he was suicidal, and he started talking about he wanted to bring a Bible with him or something.
And now they're in court, staring down charges that could end with a lethal injection. The state isn't holding back. They're coming at them full force. But here's where it goes off the rails. One of the main suspects, Rashad Murphy, completely lost it. He fired his lawyer and insisted on representing himself in a murder case that could end with the death penalty. The judge and his attorney warned him repeatedly, but Rashad refused to back down. He even filed a motion for a speedy trial and started sending handwritten letters straight to the judge. In those letters, he complained he was being treated like he was already guilty. No calls, no access to files, nothing. Some say he's stalling, others think he's mentally cracking under the pressure. Honestly, with what he's facing, who could blame him? The prosecutors came ready, ring cam footage of rifles and duffel bags, phone GPS tracking Julio's every move that night. The evidence is overwhelming. They're not walking away from this one.
Oh, it's not like they're gonna get off for this.
No, they got so much evidence against them. Like when you go through it, you can pretty much just, all right, pick a prison. Where do y'all want to go? It's just not, you can't even come up with a defense for them.
Text messages showed they planned everything step by step, like a full-blown operation. Even the bullet casings at the scene matched the same guns police found sitting in their homes.
Found bullets. They found bullets in that kid's house. They found one of the murder weapons. They found bullets matching from the shooting scene. This kid kept collectibles from the case, like mad inside of his house.
When all that evidence hit the court, it was too much to handle. One suspect sitting just feet from Julio's grieving mother suddenly collapsed, sliding out of his chair, shaking and gasping, whispering, "I can't breathe." Pure chaos. Was it guilt, fear, realization he'd never walk free? Nobody knows, but the walls are closing in fast. This isn't just another street beef. It's what happens when social media turns murder into a show, when mocking the dead becomes music streams, and mothers watch their kids' names dragged online. Julio caused pain to others, and it came back around. 6 lives lost in total, 1 buried, 5 behind bars, probably forever. One suspect even expects a child who may only see their mom through prison glass. It gets worse. The crew allegedly exposed themselves online chasing clout. That digital trail may seal their fate. Prosecutors say this wasn't random. It was a movie-style ambush, organized tracking multiple getaway cars, long drives, rifles built for war. Surveillance footage shows Rashad Murphy, Diane Murphy, and Sean Gathright calmly packing massive duffel bags in a quiet neighborhood, big enough to hide assault rifles. The wildest part? They recorded it on their own security camera, leaving evidence behind like a confession on tape.
We have evidence of the defendant's co-defendants very clearly meeting at Sean Gathwright's house on his video camera, where they are loading up big bags that are definitely big enough to hold these assault rifles that were used in this case.
But here's the creepiest part. Julio's final night was practically live streamed by his own hand. He was posting clips from his birthday celebration on Instagram, showing every move without even realizing it. Two people, Alicia Andrews and Isaiah Chance, were allegedly acting like fake friends, smiling in his face while secretly tracking him in real time, from the club to the after party, all the way to that hotel. And the killers, they didn't rush him, they waited, sitting across the street just watching, patient, cold, and ready to strike.
Jones was in town celebrating his birthday and posted on his social media his locations several times throughout that night. Surveillance video was critical in this investigation, as suspects were seen on video following Jones from location to location.
At 4:38 a.m., three of them jumped out the car and started walking straight toward Julio's hotel room like they were on a mission. Two had rifles locked and ready. One carried a handgun. Then it happened, and they lit up Julio's SUV with a storm of 31 bullets. Three others inside got hit too, but somehow they made it out alive.
This barrage of gunfire also struck three additional victims who miraculously survived this incident. It's clear from that video what they were set out to do and what they had planned to do.
So why did they go this far? What could drive five people, one of them even pregnant, to plan and pull off a public execution like this? Investigators say it all comes down to revenge. One of the shooters had a brother known as Spaz, who was reportedly killed by someone connected to Julio's circle, and that set the whole deadly chain in motion.
I don't think he had nothing to do with the murder though.
No, I mean, it's actually pretty ugly what happened, because one of the suspects, their brother, Spaz, was allegedly killed by one of Foolio's friends.
Yeah.
Foolio rapped about him, and I believe there's a video of him urinating on his grave.
There's multiple videos of Foolio dissing this.
Julio didn't just rap about it, he mocked it. He even dropped a video showing someone disrespecting Spaz's grave. That wasn't a song, that was a threat, straight up war. So they packed up and headed to Tampa, not with bars, but with heat, burner phones, and a full getaway plan. But here's the kicker. They were sloppy, really sloppy. They basically handed the cops the entire case on a silver platter. Let's break it down. Alicia's phone pinged at every stop Julio made that night from Jacksonville to Tampa license plate. Readers tracked the cars. Hotel surveillance caught them before and after the hit. Bullet casings from the scene matched rifles found in Rashad Murphy's house. And if that's not enough, one suspect even kept shell casings and fragments like trophies. Want to hear the worst part? Some of them were texting after the shooting like it was a victory celebration. One even bragged, "I'm coming home, my thirst is finally quenched." That's not just disturbing, it's straight up chilling.
They were caught on license plate cameras. He used his mama's car. His mama said, "I had that car that my son had."
Rashad Murphy thought he was outsmarting everyone. He left his own phone at home, but still used other people's to stay in the game. Then he went full wild card, asking to represent himself. Even his own defense attorney called it reckless, but Murphy didn't care. He claimed the jail conditions were stopping him from prepping for trial. Then he flipped the script again in November, pulling the insanity card and saying he planned to go for an insanity defense. But here's the kicker. If you planned every move, tracked your target, and covered your steps, that ain't insanity. That's straight up calculated. Legal experts warn that defense could be dead before the trial even starts. And if Murphy keeps playing lawyer, he might even throw his co-defendants under the bus right there in the courtroom.
I think this guy's nuts. I think that's why. I mean, he wants to defend himself, which is insane in a death penalty case. And then he actually has said that he may use an insanity defense, which also is insane in itself when the facts show otherwise, that these guys had meticulous planning and attempts to cover up crime. And when you have that, good luck in getting an insanity defense, because to sustain an insanity defense, you have to have an established medical condition and you have to not know the difference between right and wrong. But when you meticulously plan and then try to cover up your tracks. That shows you knew the difference between right and wrong. It shows you knew what you did was illegal. And when you want to just try to put forward an insanity defense as your own lawyer, it doubles the level.
And that's exactly why the rest of the crew is losing it, especially Alicia Andrews. She's the only one who didn't waive her right to a speedy trial. Legal insiders are saying she might actually be cooperating with the prosecution, and that's got everyone shaking.
And then they just recently did it where the girl isn't waiving her right to a speedy trial, and they believe she's gonna cooperate.
Right. Actually, one of my members, Kilcon RL, mentioned that. He said Alicia Andrews, who's the girl who's pregnant, she asked for a speedy trial, but the other three waived.
Right.
Waived that. So yeah, I guess that means she's cooperating now.
And honestly, that makes sense. She's young, pregnant, and thinking about her future. If she flips, this case could blow wide open. Things are spiraling fast behind those jail walls. Panic mode is real. As prosecutors laid out the evidence, one name kept popping up: Alicia Andrews, 21 and pregnant. Facing the same first-degree charges as the shooters, she made a bold move, demanding a speedy trial that wasn't just legal strategy, it sent a clear message she might talk. Right after her arrest, Andrews gave a full police interview. She admitted she was there and detailed the crew's movements across Tampa that night. She didn't name the shooter, but gave enough information to piece the timeline together. Exactly what prosecutors needed. Investigators also pulled her GPS data, tracking her from clubs to the Airbnb and finally to the hotel where Foolio was killed. Alicia may not have pulled the trigger, but she allegedly acted as lookout, feeding updates and guiding the crew like a tactical operation. It was reckless, tragic, and deadly, and prosecutors aren't stopping there. The court has now allowed them to introduce past gang-related killings as evidence, putting defense lawyers on edge.
I do find, generally speaking, that this is evidence that does help create motive and intent and explain the crimes charged.
That means prosecutors are officially tying Foolio's murder to a full-blown street war that's been brewing for years. They say this hit wasn't random. It was the final chapter in a deadly feud between three of Jacksonville's most feared crews, 6 Block and 1200. This wasn't just rap beef. This was real blood, real disrespect, and real consequences. The music got answered in real life with Graves. Alicia's boyfriend was allegedly tied to one of those rival crews. One of the shooters had lost his brother in this same war, and Foolio even disrespected that brother's grave in one of his music videos. The judge allowed all of that into court to show motive, making it crystal clear why this ambush happened.
This is something in Jacksonville that is very well known. These videos, both by our victim as well as by the rival gangs, are posted immediately. It's in the public domain, and it details this long-standing feud.
But here's the wildest part. Some suspects basically handed themselves over. Take Rashad Murphy. He tried firing his lawyer, claiming insanity, and representing himself in a death penalty case. Yet prosecutors were stunned by what he left behind. Surveillance cameras from his own house caught him and the others loading bags big enough to hide the rifles used in the murder. It gets crazier. Rashad thought he was slick, leaving his phone at home, but kept using others' devices. The state tracked every stop the crew made in Tampa through those phones. One even used a cash app. Police traced payments, IPs, and the car used that night. Rashad's mom's surveillance caught it near the scene, and when asked, she admitted, "Yeah, my son had it that night." Game over. And the most chilling part, after the shooting, a suspect allegedly texted, "I'm coming home. My thirst is finally quenched."
That's the same guy who, after the murder, allegedly sent out a text, "I'm coming home, my thirst is finally quenched." Like, it was a mission for him. So, I mean, if we're talking about motive, that's classic get back, right? Hey, his people did something to my brother. They kept laughing about it. They've desecrated his gravesite. This is a rapper who's been known to make videos at gravesite or laugh at the dead. Now we get to laugh at it.
That wasn't just bragging. It was a confession in plain sight. This wasn't a one-night tragedy. It was part of a bigger culture turning murder into content, funerals into promotion, and pain into entertainment. Foolio played his part, dissing the dead in his music and fueling a cycle that now cost him his life. One shooter was just 18, already linked to prior shootings since he was 17. From Twitch streams to rifles in an ambush, social media became the new battlefield. Threats came through Instagram, and revenge was measured in views and likes. Florida law enforcement is on high alert. They want this case to send a message. Rap clout ends in life behind bars. At the courthouse, the defendants faced judgment like a reckoning. Sean Gathright, 18, stared at the judge, eventually slouching forward, whispering, "I ain't kill him, I ain't kill him." But in Florida, anyone helping plan a murder is just as guilty, and video showed Sean prepping for the ambush, exactly what prosecutors needed. Then came Rashad Murphy. Facing a possible death sentence, he fired his lawyer and insisted on representing himself. Judges warned him, his attorney pleaded, the prosecutor said, "This is a disaster." But Rashad kept fighting, complaining of jail restrictions, denied legal access, treated like he was already guilty. Earlier, he'd even floated an insanity plea. The courtroom reached a breaking point. As Rashad argued, his knees buckled and he collapsed. Bailiffs and a medic rushed over. His mother screamed, the judge called a recess. No cameras caught it, but witnesses saw it. One killer finally cracking under the weight of a life sentence. Meanwhile, Julio's mother sat quietly. Online, people blamed him, but she said, "He was still my son. He didn't deserve to die, not on his birthday." After everything, the footage, lyrics, mocking posts, all that remained was justice in the courtroom.
Let's not lose sight of the fact that there are innocent victims in every homicide case, the loved ones who are left behind. His fans knew him as Julio Foolio, but to his mom, he's Charles. We're fighting to make sure that she gets justice.
But even that feels cold, because what no one talks about, what doesn't trend or go viral, is what happens after the guns go silent, after the sentencing. Once the cameras stop rolling and the crowd fades out, the real pain begins. That's when mothers go home alone, replaying courtroom scenes and surveillance footage in their heads again and again. That's when a child grows up visiting a parent through thick glass, all because someone chased clout with a gun in their hand. This case is a blueprint of a modern-day tragedy. Clout killed Julio, blind loyalty buried the suspects, and TikTok turned it all into trending content. But there's one more icy layer. Investigators now believe Julio's most known rap rival may have known about the murder as it happened. A shocking twist, DJ Academics revealed that while police were raiding the suspect's homes, he was mid-interview with Ace, completely unaware of the chaos unfolding.
The moment Young and Ace was sitting with me for the interview, the cops were raiding the guys. The exact moment. Everybody who got locked up for the murder, the 3 simultaneous arrests, happened exactly when he's talking to me. And I think, I don't know what his perspective is now, but his perspective is then, and maybe he just doesn't know anything. He was like, "Hey, no, gonna come up."
Let that sink in. The exact moment police made their move, Ace was live on a stream. And what was sitting on the table next to him? A bottle of Don Julio, his drink of choice. Whether it was pure coincidence or some twisted message the internet noticed, and the reaction was instant. Julio toasted online with Don Julio. Now we wait. The trials are far from over. Alicia Andrews is expected to be the first to face a jury this year. Whether she takes the stand or flips completely is still unknown. Rashad Murphy's solo courtroom stunt could either crash and burn or end with a last-minute plea deal. But the gang war that sparked all this, it's far from over. Police are already on high alert, bracing for whatever comes next.
Unfortunately, I think young people think this is a game. And, there'll be comments about this in the statement that I make, and they make it like it's a video game. It's not. This is real life. So he has a mother, he has parents, siblings, probably friends, and they have to deal with these kind of losses, and it's unfortunate. Now the next thing is these groups, I won't name them, they know who they are. We're not going to tolerate any retribution, any revenge. We're going to watch. We're going to be around paying attention to what's going on, but it's unfortunate. It should never happen, Tarek. It's and I've never seen so much devaluing of human life. It's like it's fun, and they talk about it in rap videos and songs, and it's just doesn't make any sense.
Retaliation's in the air and the streets are tense. As one sheriff put it, this was never about rap. It was about power, revenge, ego, and who gets the last post. The courtroom may have spoken, but in this world, music videos double as murder files. Diaries live on Instagram stories, and funerals, they're streamed like concerts. And if you've made it this far, you already know this story is bigger than just one case. Drop a like, leave a comment, share this with someone who needs to hear the truth, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll keep tracking every twist and turn as it unfolds. See you on the next one.